It is important to understand that the race is not between the nations, but the race is against the time.
The time we have left to keep the goals of the Paris Agreement within reach is diminishing, fast. If we're to keep the 1.5 degree limit alive, we must halve global emissions by 2030 and reach net zero emissions by the middle of the century. And this requires rapid action across the real economy. Today we have well over 2,000 companies and 130 investors signed up to the Race to Zero campaign. This is the gold standard of climate action pioneered by my friends Nigel Topping and Gonzalo Munoz that requires both a net zero commitment and short-term targets based on the science to get there.
Countries around the world come up with a net zero pledge. This is very good. But what we thought is that having this pledge 2050 is good. But it is important to translate those emission pledges to what needs to happen in the energy sector. There's a translation, because the pledge alone wouldn't be convincing enough for the markets, for the investors, and most importantly, for the citizens. And we should also acknowledge that some governments, some countries are starting this race in front of the others. And therefore, it is very important that especially those richer countries should support the efforts of the developing nations to finish the race together. And looking at the global nature of our climate challenge, I believe unless everybody finishes the race, nobody wins that race. So it is very important that there's international collaboration here.
I think we all can recognize that we have entered what is probably the most important decade in the history of humankind. We stand in an existentialistic crisis that will impact every person, every business, and acknowledging that, of course, leads to a lot of despair, a lot of fear. But what we are after is more what type of actions and leadership that we need to put in front, because there is an opportunity for us to resolve the situation, and we will.
So I think that the world is really, really changing. I mean, there was a good moment to change, and there is a second good moment to change. And we are now on the second best moment to change, today. The best moment was yesterday, but the second best moment is today.